Hello everyone, CSWort here, and in front of me is the new Sculk sensor, and with 119 around the corner, I figured now is a good time to play with it since it's probably ready. So to demonstrate, anytime an entity or block makes a sound, a vibration is sent, and the sensor will output a redstone signal on all adjacent sides and underneath, unless there is some wool blocking the entity or sound, or if the entity is on top of some carpet or wool. It doesn't matter if you're jumping or walking, but everything else is fair game, including placing a block, or even just touching water. That counts as swimming or splashing or something. I don't know. So from here I decided to try and create a note block clock using just sensors and note blocks, and as you can see it does work. However, it is rather slow and ridiculously big. Now I can't do anything about the speed because that's based off the cooldown, but I can change the size to just a note block and a piston. So here we can see that the moment the sensor is deactivated, it is reactivated, and we have a perfect clock. And every time we want to deactivate it, we just put some wool on top of the note block here, and we wait for it to turn off. Now I'm in one of the later snapshots where that change to only needing wool on the note block was reverted, so yeah, that was there. So I wanted to also try and make a song, but first, throwing wool on the ground doesn't work, so let's throw another item. So that was the intro to the Star Spangled Banner, and as you can tell that takes up a lot of space for the intro, and you can play the whole song in the same space with normal components. But I have my sensors spaced out 8 blocks for the quarter note, meaning the 8th note would only be spaced out 4 blocks. And if I wanted a 16th note, it would be half that, meaning you can get some rather fine detail in here using the sensors, as well as putting multiple ones together to emulate a half note or whole note. I felt it worked rather well, but will this whole thing catch on? Probably not. So from there I decided to try and play with dispensers and droppers and see if I can make a dropper line. And as you can tell, it does send a nice signal all the way down. And let's go ahead and throw an item in to show that this works. So sensor in and sensor out. And to show this wasn't a fluke, let's throw another item in. So note block in, and if we go to the end, note block comes out. So in the bedrock edition, we can see that I have 2 lines here, one with the sensors and one with what you would think would work with normal components, where we alternate back and forth with one redstone tick in between. So putting the item in, we see it's in the first slot here, and hitting the button, it moved literally 1 slot. And that time it moved 2. And that time it moved 4. So it's very inconsistent. In fact, I was actually getting 6 spots before I relogged. So luckily the Sculk sensor version is rather consistent. If I at least space the note blocks out by 1, we can see here, it does in fact travel all the way to the end. This is rather fun to watch. So let's go ahead and do this again, show it wasn't a fluke. And once again it travels all the way to the end. Now I probably played with this for an hour or so, just doing this back and forth, and it actually did end up getting stuck 1 time with this configuration. It's actually right here at the dirt block. I don't know why exactly right here it got stuck. Could be a chunk border, but I don't know. Anyway, it is possible to work in bedrock edition. So with that being said, I kind of wanted to know what exactly is the speed at which this travels, and so I set up 2 lines here, one with and without note block spacing, and on this one I put up a timer, so let's go ahead and activate that scoreboard. And as soon as I cross this line, I'll start flying, so we can see if they activate at the same time, and also what time that ends. Yep, so as you can see, they did in fact stop at the same time, and our time it took to go 100 blocks was 86 ticks, or 4.25 seconds, meaning we went about 23 meters per second, which is faster than the 20 that's on the wiki, so I don't know. But something's got me curious. As I've played around with this, I noticed that although these were started at the same time, the one on the left here ended up slower. That's because there's additional spacing between them, and because it takes time to travel, we get different amounts. So a note block here won't get the same amount of time as the one right here. I mean, we can get various inputs based off location. And in this demonstration, we can see that there are various levels where white is 1, light gray is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. All different tick intervals based on where you have a source. And that's for ones in line with the Sculk sensor here, not if you go down blocks or up to another row. I'm not going to do the full sphere, but you kind of get the point. You can get some interesting results. This is going to be really fun to play with, and I can't wait to see what people come up with. But that's all for today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.